Well, without further ado, hello everyone. I'm Mike, and I'm here with Sam from the Northern Minutemen podcast.
Howdy, howdy.
And we decided to come back here for week 3.
Episode 3 already.
Yeah, and I have to say something quick. Last week we didn't talk about our watches.
No, we didn't. We totally forgot.
Yeah, so
Let's start with that.
yeah. First things first. I'm wearing a Luminox Commando. This is the watch that I think I got it on clearance at Midway USA.
Really?
Yeah. And I still paid a bit for it, but I wanted a watch that would, well, I could use it in the shop, beat it up, get it covered in oil, work around my lathe. And, I don't take my Wall Street out there for turning barrels. And it used to be I'd put on my Apple Watch because, I could ignore phone calls or control it right then and there. But then I wanted a watch that got me away from that. And this is a great watch. I've covered it in oil and it still looks like it's a new watch. So yeah, it's made to take a beating.
Today I'm wearing a watch I got yesterday. This is my my monthly subscription watch. So this is an RGMT Tritium Aviator. So it's filled with tritium gas. And then it has tritium paint on the hour hand and the minute hand and all of the dial. So the tritium will last 25 years in this, so it glows brightly at night.
The whole thing.
Whole thing, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. And I really like the watch band that it came with. It came with 2 bands. It had a black metal bracelet on it, and I took that off because I liked it as a canvas bracelet.
Yeah.
It's unusual for a watch, so kind of like it. It's comfortable.
Especially, high-end watches. And I have to admit that there are some Bulova field watches that I have that have they got the nylon or the canvas. Yeah, I just like the way they feel. They're not too heavy. They stay in their place. But lately I've really been enjoying the, what do you call this? Just a rubber.
Yeah, those are comfortable.
Especially with the clasp or...
I like the look of the metal, but I like the other styles. As far as wearability, they're a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the pull-through lock, like a traditional...
Yeah, it's just simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these are kind of a pain to fit. You got to take scissors to that rubber, and if
you do have micro adjustments in your clasp.
Yeah.
Those are helpful.
Oh, yeah. I think there was a watch, there was a Review Thoman or however you pronounce that I did that because I cut it and worried that I cut it too tight, but then I used those little adjustments to make it tolerable.
A lot of people don't even know those are there.
Yeah, I didn't until I panicked and started looking for a solution.
Yeah, so that's part of the name of the Northern Watchman.
Yeah.
Not only are we watching what's paying attention, but we have a watch problem.
That's a good problem to have, I think. I enjoy watches. My interest with watches started with pocket watches. My grandfather or my dad gave me a pocket watch that he had inherited from his grandfather, or it had been in our family for a long time. And it was a Waltham, American Waltham pocket watch company. It dated back to the late 1800s, and it still works, and it's a traditional like 17 jewel manual. They called it like the railroad watch, or the person that pulls his pocket watch out to check the time to announce the arrival of the train. That's the kind of watch it was. It sat on a cheap leather strap, loop it around your belt loop. Really cool. And just from looking on the internet and kind of going back in history, different watch manufacturers and how they weren't sourced anywhere. Every part was made by hand, by machinists in America. I really thought that was cool.
Yeah. So. Super mechanical, handmade.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of like guns.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's a whole new beast. Just as fun, but with many more rabbit holes. You can go down. You're looking for parts. They lots of anti-gun countries make lots of gun parts for us. And I don't know, sometimes more times than not, they don't work like they're supposed to. The dimensions aren't quite right, and I don't know if that's by design, taking advantage of the, ignorant American, I guess, but
who knows? Who knows? But how was your week?
It was good.
Do anything cool this week?
Nope.
Nope.
I like routine. I'm a fan of being predictable, knowing what my day is going to be like. and yeah, planning days ahead. And I don't really look forward to excitement. And by excitement, I mean,
The unknown.
right, surprise, the house is burning down or change of plans. I like to be predictable. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because I just get emotionally lazy or I have so much invested in life right now with children and my business that I like to know
Yeah.
or try and know what's coming and plan for that.
I would say that is pretty normal. I think most people like the stability and comfort of knowing what is happening.
Yep. If they don't, then they're either crazy or they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot out of a person to have a life full of unknowns and to be okay with it.
That is my life.
Is it?
My life is complete unknown. Every day it's like, I don't know what I'm doing until that day. And then I'm like, oh, I have this appointment and this appointment and that appointment. And then this happened. And then I'm just like going with the flow. And every day is like a new adventure. And I usually don't know what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah. I bless you, man. Because I would, that stressed me out.
It is stressful at times, but sometimes it's really cool. Like the days go quick. They're kind of full of adventure.
I don't know. I think if a person puts up with enough of that in their life, they can adapt to getting used to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think to has come as far as you have, you probably do pretty well with that.
Yeah. I lean into the chaos.
Yeah.
My risk tolerance is really high.
Yeah. I lean back from it. Go somewhere else. I'm not interested.
Yeah. My mom always says, if there's a hurricane, you're walking towards it.
Yeah. Well, I think that I don't know if that's because you're comfortable with it or if you just know that's where you're needed. You're willing to go forth per se. Like with public service, with officers, and I actually, something chaotic did happen this week, and I'll get to that. But you have to be willing to go into the darkness, towards the unknown, and face the unpredictability of life to be of use as a servant, as a public servant.
Totally agree.
Because you could have all the training in the world as EMT or an officer, what do you call them, paramedics, if they're different than an EMT, but every single situation, every call, every time you step out of that vehicle and people know you're there to help is chaos. It's different, and it can change in a moment.
Yeah,
and that takes a special kind of mindset and willingness to handle.
Yeah. There is a big difference between paramedics and EMTs, by the way.
There is?
Paramedic has a lot more skill level than an EMT does.
Okay.
Yeah, an EMT is considered like a basic skill level, where a paramedic, they can push meds, they can intubate people. Yeah, a paramedic will be the highest level of care on an ambulance.
And would an EMT just be the person that gets the cart?
Yeah, an EMT is the person who supports the paramedic. Nobody uses the term ambulance driver because nobody's an ambulance driver. Yeah, you're an EMT.
Is it no one's an ambulance driver or everybody's an ambulance driver because it's just part of the job?
Calling an EMT or a paramedic an ambulance driver is kind of derogatory.
Like calling a Marine a soldier?
Yeah, it's like you don't want to cut someone off the knees. Like, you're so much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make note of that.
Yeah, never call someone an ambulance driver.
Yeah. I just say
you want to get punched in the throat.
and then wait until they're ready to help you.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So Monday or Tuesday of this last week, I was picking all the kids up from school, and we were behind the middle school. They got that roundabout there that they are taking forever to finish. Everybody was convoying, per se, driving between that dirt lot behind Target and the middle school. And I had the windows down, and we were at a stop, and I heard a sound that I'd heard it a lot in the past. And I sat there for a minute, and I said, it sounded like a car accident. And then we sat there for another minute, and I got out of the car, And sure enough, there was a 3-vehicle crash right in front of us. There was a big van in front of us, and then in front of them was the 3 vehicles that were in the crash. And it was a fender bender, kind of an accordion effect, I think, happened, and it was all front end, rear end contact. The first vehicle was at a standstill. The second vehicle was they were stationary. And this is just, I have to say it for sake of me not being an officer anymore, but it was speculation. This is what I perceived as to have happened without any further investigation, with no investigation. But I, from what it looked like, the third vehicle, the biggest of all 3 vehicles, was this big van. Must have been traveling, I don't know. The flow of traffic before the stop must have been 15 to 20 miles an hour. Struck the second vehicle and moved them into the first vehicle. And I made this assumption, or this educated guess, by the level of damage. This third vehicle, this bullet vehicle, as we would call it, had enormous amounts of front end damage. It was pushed the engine back into the dashboard. You can see the dashboard. The dashboard had been moved back off of the front of the passenger compartment. And the driver of that vehicle had a significant laceration to the face.
Wow, they must be going pretty fast.
Yeah, with no seatbelt. Yeah. And it brought back a lot of memories when I was a state trooper. I got out and felt I get to do something that I never thought I would get to do again. Mm-hmm. And now granted it was to a much reduced capacity. There was a mother with her young baby standing on the phone off on the sidewalk, and I just asked, "Are you both okay?" And she, they're okay. The child was eating its hand and saying hi to everything, just curious. Like, it wasn't startled too much. And in the second vehicle, there was 2 occupants in the front seats. The young front seat passenger had significant chest pain, and it was just like putting on an old hat. Let's assess the damage. Ask them questions to see if you can't get them to think of something else. Will slowing their heart rate get them to control the situation themselves? Just assessing themselves and helping them control their pain. And the person with the laceration to their face was hysterical, just hysterical. And
male or female?
Female. Looked a little older than me, but I saw that kind of hysteria with people in crash situations where they hurt others when they knew that there was guilt to be had. They panicked because they're not only worried about how they feel, but there's human nature to how they made others feel, and there's a lot of weight to that. But I couldn't get them to sit down. I couldn't get their name. I had no gloves, which is a big worry. I went through the 2 medical kits in the back of my car, no gloves. I had a couple of 4x4 gauze strips that I gave them for their face, but then I had to move on because there were others that needed help and they weren't. It was just a lost cause trying to get them to calm down. Then the paramedics showed up, and I, just like I did when I was a state trooper, I briefed them on the situation, how many cars, how many vehicles, and the situations of all occupants. Yeah, and then this officer pulled up, and I don't have a lot of faith with Bemidji city police officers, and I hate that I have to say that. There were a few times where I was involved in situations myself where I strongly felt they should have been handled differently. It seemed like it was handled with a small town mindset, and the reports and the opinions of those who had influence over judgment in that situation, it was skewed or opinionated. And this officer showed up with a look on his face like, why do I have to be here? I'm annoyed, and that's not a public servant. You put off everybody there when you show up with that kind of attitude. And he asked me if I was involved, and I said nope, and then I just left. I felt at best there was chaos to be had, and it was he was paid to be there. He needed to handle it.
Yeah.
I did all I could. The neat thing is the next day or 2 days later, my son, Jace, came home and said, "Dad, that person that you helped in the front of that car, she's in my class, and she said to tell you thank you."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why you do it. And I didn't do much. I think a calming presence to just help them understand the situation. That's all I could do. But
there's been a few times in my 3 years of being an EMT on an ambulance, there's been a few times that I can remember where somebody reached out to me weeks later and just said, "Hey, you made a huge impact on that day.
Yeah.
And then usually those were the calls where I felt like I didn't do much.
Yeah.
You know, just being there and comforting them. And, you know, sometimes you have a lot of help and a lot of helping hands on a scene. And you feel like, okay, cool. I'm going to let everybody else have control of the scene. Like, I don't need to have control over every scene. You take turns. Like, sometimes this is my call. Sometimes this is my partner's call. And the ones where I was like in the background, those are the ones where people reached out and said, hey, I really appreciate you being there. And you made a big impact that day.
It's huge that people in that chaos can look out and see a calming presence.
Yeah.
You know, if not everyone here is going crazy, then maybe I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. If there's chaos happening, the best thing you can do is be the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be super calm and and then you can bring down the mood of whatever situation's happening.
And then you can talk to people. When I was a state trooper, I thought I ruined this guy's life.
What guy? Maybe you did.
Well, it was the most involved evening, I think, when I was on the patrol. I got a call for service. There was a fight at a gas station, and long story short, I met them. I got behind them, following them, going into a new county, and I stopped them it was the only car I think I stopped for 2 miles an hour over, because the plate, the description, everything matched the BOLO, or the be on the lookout description.
So you had probable cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And even if it would have been the wrong vehicle, the 2 miles over was so. But then the wife was driving, and she was just 3 sheets to the wind, or half a book to the wind. I don't know, but immensely intoxicated, so much that I couldn't even do sobriety testing. She kept falling over, and at some point you have to stop. You fall over twice when there's no wind out. That's all the evidence I need to know where your state of mind is at. And let's get you off the road. And then you get a warrant for the blood. And then I went back to the coffee cup truck stop and watched the footage of the fight that started all of this. And I saw who started the fight, and her husband did. And I went back to the jail where he was waiting patiently for his wife to get bail. And I took him into custody and drove him back to the other county where the fight happened. And he tried to kick out my window, and he was very angry. He was like Mr. Clean on meth. And the whole time I have my squad car computer open to my backseat camera, watching him while I'm driving down the road.
I have an amazing video playing in my mind right now of the actual Mr. Clean on meth in a fight in a gas station. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and he was a muscular guy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
White t-shirt, blue jeans.
Yes, and he had blood on his shirt.
Gold earring.
Bald.
Bald.
And we get to the jail, and he's overly aggressive. He's threatening the blood tech, or the nurse that shows up to draw the blood, and he's threatening me, threatening to harm my wife and kids. And I charged him, threatening an officer, threatening I forget all the charges, but there's a lot of felonies involved. And I let it go. And in court, he was sober, and he was the most regretful man I ever saw. He couldn't believe what he had done, what he had said. And he said specifically something to the effect of, with all of his heart, he cannot believe he said that about me or my wife or my kids. And like a year later, I ran into him at the state fair, and my heart is in my throat. Like,
that would be the hardest part about being an officer, is running into people that you have arrested or...
Because I wasn't on duty, but he recognized me, and he came up to me.
How did that go?
It went as good as I prayed it would.
That's awesome.
He held his hand out and said, I have to thank you. I had problems, and I got held accountable, and I had to fix some things. And he said, my wife and I are now like 18 months sober. Anyway, it was gratifying.
Yeah, that's a really cool story.
And, I think several times something like that happened, but for some reason I can only remember that one. Maybe because of the instant fear I had as he approached me in public, but I don't know. Maybe I should have just known things were going to be okay because he had hair on his head.
Was your hand going into the fanny pack as he was walking up to you?
I was unarmed.
At the fair? Are you insane?
I was awfully trusting. I don't know. I had a concealed weapon, and I had ways to conceal that with like a boot holster. For some reason, I don't know why or what, but after all my time in the military and my time as an officer, I started to enjoy not being armed.
Yeah, I understand that.
And
I don't think I know a single officer, though, that when they're off duty, they're not armed. I don't know one.
This was before the Ferguson stuff or whatever happened in Missouri. Life as an officer was pretty calm. And I hate saying routine or predictable, but my days on and off shift were...
So it was kind of like pre-9/11 military.
Yeah.
It was a totally different vibe, kind of like law enforcement pre-Minneapolis burning down and going on tour across the country.
Right. But this was before, I forget, was it Floyd was Minneapolis, Ferguson, Missouri was either the name of the guy or the name of the area it happened.
I think it was, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'd have to pull up my phone.
If I would have known we were going to talk about it, I would have been...
Researched it? Yeah, I don't know. Our conversations are way too spontaneous for that.
Yeah. And I prefer they be spontaneous.
I agree.
You know, you can kind of tell when some podcasts are scripted and it's just not as fun to listen to. But it wasn't very long after that it got real bad for cops because of what happened in Missouri. And I carried. I had a pocket knife. I even had a little thing of OC spray. Kate had one. She had her Kimber 1911 in a diaper bag. And I had...
Every mom should have a Kimber 1911 in a diaper bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how unthreatening, a mother with a diaper bag and then pulls this big, you know, you can't see it. That's the whole point of being concealed. But there were a few times, I thank God, she had that gun on her just to control the situation. You shop as the kids are sleeping at 11 o'clock at Target or a Walmart, and then in that parking lot, you're the only one there, and then someone tries to come up and cause problems, and then that barrel is so short you can see the hollow point through that big old barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all about it. We train as many people as we can. We had a class yesterday. We had 84 people in it. Again, just an amazing group of people. Men, women, under 21, people from out of state. Just every demographic you can imagine, young and old.
One of the most admirable things I find about you and Karen and everyone that work here is your desire to teach. You sell the firearms, but then
I'd rather teach.
Yeah. But that's amazing to me is you sell the firearm and everything a person could need for that firearm, but then it seems to me you're as big of, if not a bigger proponent of training how to carry, how to use, how to live with that firearm.
So we've learned to not even advertise the store. Like, we don't advertise that we sell firearms. We advertise training. That is the thing to advertise, because everything when it comes to firearms ownership begins with training. And if you train somebody, then they will not need to be convinced on anything else. Like, it'll be their own idea. You know, if you train them and teach them what they need to defend themselves and their friends and their families and their kids and their neighborhoods and their churches and their schools, then the rest of it just kind of falls in line. And they're like, oh man, I do need this.
Yeah.
I do need a truck gun. I do need a shower gun.
That's right.
I need a gun for jogging. I need, it just...
Yeah, you see the little flies?
No.
Oh, I'm not crazy.
I think only you see them. It's your shirt, by the way. Let's talk about your shirt for a second. What were you thinking this morning when you put that shirt on?
That I would look epic.
You do look epic. Who is that on your shirt?
This is Duo, the owl.
Duolingo.
From Duolingo. We're a Duolingo family. I've been spending the last few years trying to learn Greek.
I think if you are saying flies, they're attracted to the colors of your shirt. They think you're a flower.
Well, it's got flowers on it. I mean, I almost wanted to keep my glasses on just because it flowed with the shirt, and I got the beach shorts to go with it.
Are they Duolingo shorts?
They are identical to this, same fabric and everything.
Where do you even get that?
From the app. But it all started from, my son Cole and I were trying to learn Greek, and I say trying because it's insane. I've been doing it for years, and I don't know how to say anything other than thank you.
Is Greek easy?
No.
It's Greek to you?
Yes. It's very much as you would expect. But it's fun. Like when I started dialysis and I was tired all the time, I spent a lot of time playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which takes place in ancient Greece. And just from it piqued my interest, and I started reading about, the gods and the way of life and the economy or commerce back then between the Peloponnesian War and Sparta and Athens. And then I wanted to start understanding what they were saying in the game. So I started learning Greek, and it has not gotten me anywhere. It's fun, but they make these books that were back ordered, and we just got them yesterday. But they're Duolingo books where you can kind of make homework for yourself. The alphabet and words that you've learned that you can study away from the phone. And I couldn't just order those. I had to order the obnoxious beach shirt and shorts.
Of course. If I'm placing an order, I'm going to at least get some other weird stuff in there too.
Yeah, have fun with it.
So when I got back from Honduras, I downloaded the Duolingo app to get my Spanish better. And I did it for one day. And the reason I did it for one day is I know a ton of people who use Duolingo, and they've been doing it for years, and they can't speak the language. So I don't know if Duolingo is the answer. And if you're watching Duolingo, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
It is a tool. What amazes me about Cole is he has an intellect about him that is to be admired. He started long after I did, and he has passed me in my point in learning Greek.
Can he speak it?
He asked for a Milo Patakalo the other day, which is an apple, please. And I had to look that up to understand what he was saying. But he speaks it briefly in day-to-day life. He'll go to school and say stuff, and his teachers are just in awe that he's saying something they hope is appropriate.
You didn't just swear at me, did you, young man?
Right. Yeah. But I agree. I spent years learning Greek, and I truly feel like if I were in Greece right now, I would have to have a translator.
There are some really cool apps on your phone where you can speak into it, and then it'll say what you just said in their language, and then you can have a conversation through a phone. But that's kind of a crutch. I wouldn't want to do that, really.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well lean into it and have it at a McDonald's in Greece.
Yeah, I mean, in a jam, I would do that.
Yeah.
Like if it was an emergency, I'd be communicating through that. But
so I think that's why I got the book, because then I have to start writing it down. And, it's repetition that helps you to understand and be able to speak the words. And there's a column for how it's to be read and pronounced in Greek and then translated to English. So you can see the two together and study that way.
it's my cell phone.
Okay. But yeah,
It's a friend of mine. His name's Crazy Jim, and he's texting me about a samurai sword. I'm not joking. I asked him if it was for sale, and I think he just replied back to me. Sorry to change this.
No, it's fine. So yeah, that's where the shirt came from, and it's awesome. The older my kids get, the more I wish I would have been this spontaneous and dorky when they were little, when they all would have thought I was cool.
It's never too late.
Yeah, and I think I'm leaning into that now.
Now you get to be the dad that embarrasses them at all the events. That's even cooler than being the fun dad.
Yep.
You get to be the dad that's embarrassing.
When I drop my daughter off at high school, I yell things out the window.
You should.
I did a lot when she was in middle school because there was a big crowd in front of the middle school, like, don't be embarrassing today, or slay all day. Or I saw some dad do it from Australia, and I thought that's brilliant. And yeah, don't forget how to tie your shoes. Just stuff that's embarrassing but innocent. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's a cheap shirt, but yeah, it's fun. I appreciate you bringing it up. But one thing I've wanted to talk about is I see President Trump has found other government employees essential and had them come back to work.
Yeah, so I don't know which ones you're referring to, but I know that on Monday morning, so tomorrow morning, the NFA branch is going to come back and start processing paperwork.
That's it.
Praise Jesus.
So you can get them sent.
Well, we have a stack that's been sent through our system, so we should be getting a ton of approvals on Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah, people pay for it, and I really appreciate everyone's willingness to wait. And a large part of that has to be because they understand it's not your fault.
Yeah. So this $200 tax stamp goes away January 1st. A lot of people come in and they're like, hey, I really want to buy this suppressor. And I'm like, do you want to take possession of this suppressor before January 1st? And if they're like, well, no, I'd really like to save $200, I'm like, okay, cool. Then we'll just have you pay for it and we'll put it in the vault. And we won't do any of your paperwork until January 1st. But there's a catch. So if you pay $200 now and send your paperwork through, you're going to get a 12-hour approval. If you wait until January 1st and save $200, when 50 million people buy a suppressor in one day, how long do you think it's going to take for your paperwork to get processed?
It'll be back like it was a year ago.
Dude, it's instantly going to go from a 12-hour transfer time on December 31st. Come January 1, we're going to be at a 6-month transfer time because there's 50 million paperworks in queue.
Right now?
There will be come January 1. It'll be 50 million overnight.
I think there is good and bad in that. I think I can have this good and bad opinion because I'm watching this happen. I'm not a part of it, but I think it's awesome that many Americans want one.
Well, I mean, it's an instant $200 savings on each suppressor. So a ton of people are like, as soon as it goes away, I'm taking 5.
You can get 2 suppressors and pay the tax stamp, or you can get a nice watch.
Every single person isn't buying one item. They're buying 5 items or 10 items.
Every time I come in here, I want, I'm not kidding. Like when I got my son's shotgun last week, I wanted to grab one of those Coyote 30 caliber suppressors. I have my Creedmoor taken apart, and I'm going to change it to a PRC, and I thought it would take me 30 minutes to thread this thing for a 5/8 inch suppressor. And I'm still going to do that because just how wicked would that thing look with that can on the end of it?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I love advertising for off-grid and off-grid suppressors because of how, I don't know how to say it. They're awesome, and they're some of the best cans I've ever used. And why not? I mean, if you're a fan of something and you firmly believe in it and you want to support it because of how you feel and how you believe in it, then why not? It's wonderful. Because if people don't speak up about what they agree with and what they like and what they support, then the nonsense from China is going to come over here and take over because people. Yeah,
that's a fact.
Yeah,
that is a fact.
So I don't know if it's me just getting my one suppressor. I think I'll be okay with paying the tax stamp because I don't want to wait. A year or 9 months or whatever. But
it's going to be a long wait. I don't know. Nobody knows how long it's going to be. What we're going to see has never happened before.
What I would like to see is, the previous administration hired all those tax agents for obnoxious reasons. I'd like to see that done for suppressor processing.
I wonder how many people work at the NFA branch.
Yeah.
There's probably only a handful of people.
You think?
It's not many. I guarantee it's not many.
I guess it isn't as big a deal as the IRS.
Everyone, not even close.
Everyone has to pay taxes.
Yeah, the IRS has like 2.3 million employees or something like that.
Don't get me started on taxes.
Yeah, I think the NFA branch is like 14 guys.
Yeah, that has to change.
That would be my guess.
Let's get that up to 1,400.
I don't think there's many. It's killing me not to jump on my phone and look it up right now.
Do it.
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I want to see if I can find an answer.
Normally, we bring people here with us on Sundays.
Have you noticed any other? So the federal government is still shut down. Have you noticed anything where you've looked at it and said, that's closed because the federal government's closed?
No.
Has it affected your life in any way, shape, or form?
Not at all.
Mine either.
Yeah.
So if the federal government can be closed and nobody notices it, why is it ever open?
Or why is it as big as it is?
Exactly. If it's so essential and so important, how come when it's not running, nobody notices?
Because of the crooked people in charge at one point in time.
I mean, obviously, we're not recording this in D.C.
Right.
If we were in D.C., we'd be like, where is everybody? Did the rapture happen?
Right.
No, the federal government's shut down.
Yeah. No, it's a wonderful thing that we live in a part of the country, that we live in a part of Minnesota where life goes on regardless of what happens in D.C. The prices at the pump have come down a little bit. I don't know. If you get the government out of the way, good things happen.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. So
How many people work at the NFA division? Let's see here. They do not list the number of employees specifically assigned to the NFA division. Apparently, that is confidential. That is odd.
I wonder if any of them work from home and if they're hiring.
I bet they have a ton of subcontractors. This Google search is telling me the ATF's entire staff was 5,281 employees as of 2023. The NFA division is a very small section of that. So the entire ATF is only 5,200 people.
What does NFA stand
That's a
for?
small National Firearms Act.
Yeah, so it's like a
So anything that falls in under the NFA, the National Firearms Act of 1934, so machine guns, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, any other weapons, and destructive devices.
yeah, it wouldn't be very big, would it?
No,
I
it's
guess
a very small subsect.
it would have never had any reason to get big, which I guess is a good thing.
They deal in heavily regulated items such as suppressors, which should not even be on the NFA registry, period.
Yeah.
So in my class on Saturday, I was telling everybody, okay, so suppressors have been on this registry for 91 years. $200 tax has been charged for every suppressor sold since 1934. In 1934, how much was $200? It was equivalent to $3,500 in today's money. $3,500 went a long ways in 1934.
Buy you a car.
By more than that. I mean, it was a lot of money. And how many people have been hurt with a legally owned suppressor since 1934?
Well,
The answer is 9 people.
there's an answer to that.
9 people have been hurt in 91 years with a legally owned suppressor. And then I tell them 120 people per year die from a falling coconut.
Why aren't we having to pay tax on coconuts?
I think we do. If there's alcohol in the coconut, there's tax on that.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Kenny Chesney and Jimmy Buffett.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
Like,
obnoxious.
They don't hurt people. It's a
Right.
health and safety product. Why is it an NFA item? Why is protecting your hearing? Why should I have to pay a special tax to own something that is going to save my ear, reduce noise pollution, reduce recoil out of my rifle? It's not going to scare kids when you're training them how to shoot with a rifle.
Yep.
Deer season, who puts on hearing protection when they pull the trigger on a monster buck? Nobody has ever done that in the history of mankind.
From a hunting perspective,
Nobody does that. Hear the animal before you see the animal, so you're not sitting there with earmuffs on.
but when you discharge a rifle without a suppressor, everything within 1-2 square miles runs off or
Yeah.
gets disturbed by that.
Well, it's equivalent to standing next to a jet engine if you discharge a rifle without ear pro. And that ringing you hear in your ears is a frequency of hearing that's dying that you'll never hear again. It'll never come back. You can kill your hearing.
Those suppressors can help save hearing and prevent hearing loss.
Yeah. Did you see the what Oprah Winfrey said? No, it wasn't Oprah Winfrey. It was Whoopi Goldberg. Did you see what she said?
I try not to.
Oh my gosh, I have to read this to you.
Okay.
So a friend of mine sent this to me. This is a quote from Whoopi Goldberg. She says, "Silencers make guns invisible to police scanners. That's why every shooter uses them." And I quote, "I've been dealing in cans for 10 years. I did not know that they could do that.
Well,
They make them invisible to police scanners." I got nothing.
yeah, I don't know. You know, she should have stopped with Sister Act.
You don't watch The View? Dude, I don't either.
I wonder how
I wish I did.
how much comedy could you take from it? Or I want to go online and see if I can't use the software that I use for our little clips, and if I can't like put the View on some of them, use like I don't know, use AI for us to mock them.
Oh
or
my
something.
gosh. I've seen a few AI clips of people who have inserted themselves into a View interview,
That's
and
awesome.
they're hilarious.
I want to be a part of that.
They are very funny.
If we could have a podcast episode where we're sitting here talking to, what's her name, Joy Bear or Joe Bear or
Joyce.
Joy.
Yeah,
she's obnoxious in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
As is the Whoopi. But
I honestly don't even know if they believe what they say on the show. It's all shock value, and it's all just
clicks and
it's
likes
clickbait.
and views.
Everything they say is clickbait, and it's just contentious and just to get a barb into you. And then once you get that barb in you, you're like, man, I can't stop watching this. It's like watching a car accident.
Well, but there's something to be learned from a car accident, like, I don't know.
Is that why we watch? It's like, oh, I wonder what happened there.
Like, I need to feel something. Let's watch a car accident.
Yeah. It's like when you're in the cities and traffic isn't moving for like 5 miles, and then you finally get up to the reason why, and it's like just a minor fender bender, and it's like, all of you slowed down to look at that?
It drives me nuts.
It's like, why?
Yeah. Two cars touch each other, and they're privately exchanging information, and everyone's just
5 miles of bumper to bumper traffic, and you get there and you're like, what?
With their cell phones out.
I was
live streaming it.
I was expecting like there was a nuclear explosion and something happened, and
somebody lost an arm.
Cars
the beginning of the zombie apocalypse right here. I get it now. Okay, I'm gonna run for my life.
Or it's a guy on the side of the road changing a tire by himself, and it's like, what?
And I get it. If that's happening, you're cheering him on as you drive by. People are playing Eye of the Tiger.
You got this, man. You could do it.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong. You're not supposed to park there. Yeah, that'd be great, but no, I don't know. So there's a lot of obnoxious things that go on with The View and CNN and ABC, D, E, F, G, or whatever they're called anymore.
Do you watch any of it?
No.
I don't either.
I refuse because
I can't.
There's no benefit whatsoever. And I think if there's something that I would benefit from, either get a good laugh out of it or, somebody lying through their teeth, then eventually there'll be a clip of that'll make their way on social media, and I'll browse past it. And
so I was raised, evening news was a thing. Like my parents would sit down and watch the evening news with Dan Rather every night. And I would sit there and watch it with them. And it was just, hey, this is what happened in the world today. And it wasn't shock and awe. It was just news. And you would watch it and you would turn it off. And you're like, okay, cool. I've been caught up on the news. We are now in a continuous shock and awe news cycle where it's all the word, it's doom and gloom, and it's 24/7 and it never lets up. And you can tell that they're just waiting for the next thing to happen so they can report on it. And we're in this 24-hour of I'm just waiting for something chaotic to happen.
And it's all just based on their opinion.
Yeah.
Like they read something and they twist it because that's how they view it. And they throw it out to the people that want to believe the same thing they do. And it's propaganda.
Yeah. We don't participate in it at all, other than social media. So that has infiltrated social media also. So you don't watch the news. You don't watch NBC, ABC, CNN.
Any news I get from Kate. She's in the know. She watches a lot of Fox News. And Fox News even gets opinionated. Especially when what happened to Charlie Kirk, it was very polarized depending on who you were watching as far as news network. But Fox News was very opinionated about all that and why it happened and who was at fault and the theories behind it. Thankfully, my wife can see right through most of that, and whatever's relevant or important to our way of life and our home and our business, she'll fill me in on. But I find that I worry and stress out about enough of life. I don't need any help.
Yeah.
So I stay off.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to watch a bunch of stuff that tells me why I need to be afraid or worried.
Yep. And I think that's all they're trying to do is they're trying to scare us. Scare us for whatever reason or what their motives are. I don't care to know. It doesn't affect me. I know who I am and I know I know how I'm going to vote. And there's nothing that'll happen on the news that'll change that. So I just,
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I also don't watch any of it.
no.
Honestly, I get all my news from my wife. Same. We
Yeah.
have the same household. She fills me in on what's going on and what's important. And I get my other part of news from Facebook. I'll see something on Facebook and then I'm like, is that real? And then I'll do an outside search and find out if it's real. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's... So when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I actually was on the phone with a buddy of mine, one of my suppressor buddies. And I was like, hey man, how you doing? And he's like, not so good, man. Our boy Charlie Kirk just got shot. And I was like, what? So I got off the phone and quick jumped online, and it had just happened. And they were, at that point, they were saying he took a round, but he was alive, but in critical condition. And then, yeah, there was really no information on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. Like, that part of the internet had been scrubbed. And my son came home from school and he was like, hey dad, did you hear Charlie Kirk got shot? And I was like, yeah, I just heard about it. And he's like, check this out. And he showed me a video on, it was on Snapchat or on TikTok. And it was an uncensored video of him taking a round in the neck.
I saw that.
And I took his phone away from him and I said, I never want you watching that ever again. My 15-year-old son had access to an assassination on his cell phone. And I was super upset about that.
Yeah, and it was uncensored.
It was totally uncensored.
Like I thought.
I mean, it was awful.
I thought that I had seen that. I never thought I'd see that again. Like, that was unbelievably graphic.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't on you.
Yeah.
There was no information on Facebook or YouTube. Like, they had made sure that people weren't dropping live videos. Like, eyewitnesses made sure that those videos weren't on there.
Right.
I can't remember if it was Snapchat or TikTok.
I think it was TikTok.
TikTok,
Because they were live streaming
Dude, it was terrible.
from a phone.
How many kids are on TikTok?
Yeah. But that footage was from 25 feet away. And whoever had their phone held up right on him.
Yeah, eyewitness right there, 25 feet away when it happened.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it.
Neither.
It stirred me in a way I thought I'd never feel again.
Yeah, I was upset.
Yeah.
I was really, really upset. And I was upset that he saw it.
Yeah. That footage was out there for his wife to see and will be there for his kids to see. But for any child to see that is a problem. But for children to see that today and think that that is normal is a huge red flag.
Yeah, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not normal.
What else are they seeing? What did they see that got them to that point?
Yeah. We did have a conversation in our house, and I explained to my kids that 4 years ago, our culture was a cancel culture, where if somebody didn't like you, they would try to cancel you or your business, cancel your network, cancel your Facebook page. Happened to us. Cancel your business, whether it be relevant to the firearms industry or not. We're just going to cancel everything about you. We're going to report you to government agencies, all of that. It went from cancel culture to now we have shifted into an assassination culture. And you saw that with the VP of the insurance company in New York.
Yeah.
That was an assassination. Two assassination attempts on President Donald Trump.
Right.
They don't like him. They can't cancel him. It's shifted into the assassination thing. And Charlie Kirk was leaning into and debating people one-on-one in a gentle way, but people do not like people who do not agree with them.
Yeah, and these same people are unable to support their opinions.
And they're unable to hear a conflicting idea and receive it and say, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
They're not being taught that in college anymore. Or there are a lot of homes that, because of media, think that you don't have to teach that to kids anymore. But I don't know. Growing up, some of my best friends, I didn't agree with a lot of things. You know, okay, well, that's you. What are we doing today? You know, let's go ride our bikes. I'm not concerned about that part of your life. Now, family members don't talk to each other anymore because of an opinion on somebody.
Correct. On politics, for example.
Like President Trump.
Donald Trump syndrome is a real thing.
Yep.
I mean, still today, he's a two-term president. He is our president of the United States. Love him or hate him, he is our president, two-term president, and there is still Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
I have people on my Facebook page that are just belligerent It's a Trump Tommy gun. It is engraved and it says Trump.
It's awesome, by the
It is awesome.
way. Yeah.
I mean, they haven't made a Biden Tommy gun. They haven't made one yet. I don't know why. I'm not auto ordnance. I don't own the company. They make the decisions on who they're going to put on these guns. But anyways, I take a picture of them like, hey, I got this really cool Tommy gun at the shop for sale. If you want one, I've got 5. Come on down and get one. Tons of people on the Facebook page, totally belligerent and rude and disrespectful. And it's like, guys, I didn't make the gun. I'm just selling it.
Yeah, you're a middleman.
Middleman.
But I love it. I love that they do that. And every time they comment, it just rejuvenates the feed.
But the public polices itself. The public will jump in there. And if somebody says something that's like completely unreasonable, the public will be like, boom, 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 just hitting them with knowledge. I don't even have to say anything.
And that
I get to stay Switzerland. I am Switzerland.
and they make
They do.
a great automatic timepiece from Switzerland. If you need to know what is good and bad, if Swiss made it, it's probably okay.
Their rifles are pretty darn awesome too. K31.
Yeah.
6.5 by 55 Swede. Straight pull. K31. The super nice gun.
Yeah, that I haven't thought about that in a long time. FN is that Germany?
Yeah, Fabrique Nationale.
Yeah. But I trust that we've gotten to a point that if World War III breaks out, they won't be able to or willing to stay silent anymore.
I don't know, man. I think they'll always be neutral.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good and bad.
I mean, it is good and bad.
But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but it's nice that you can have such a following, or anybody can have such a following where your page and your posts are followed enough where one person makes a comment like that, and in no time, 300, 400, 500 people have taken care of it for you.
Exactly.
And it's like an off-grid mafia.
Off-grid mafia. New t-shirt idea.
Yes, you're welcome.
You might get a royalty on that one. Off-grid mafia. I'll run that by my wife and see what she thinks.
Grid mafia.
But
you better order a lot of them, because
I was actually telling my wife the other day, so I had to speak in Bagley at the first, I think it was the first Lutheran church, I think, in Bagley. And they wanted me to speak on the Second Amendment and why it's fundamental in our freedom in America and what that means biblically. And I had to speak for an hour and a half on this topic. And so I did a whole lot of preparation because it's an hour and a half of talking. So I had to be prepared for it. Had an outline on what I want to talk about. And my wife asked me, she said, so what are you going to do if there's people there that are anti-gun? And I said, honestly, I would prefer if that room was filled with people who did not agree with me.
yeah, don't waste my time.
I would rather speak to people who are either anti-gun or on the fence about guns than speak to a group of people who are like me. And it's the same thing with the classes, our permit to carry classes. I wish that I could somehow put together a permit to carry class for people who are either anti-gun or on the fence about guns, then teach a group of people who are like-minded.
Have you tried advertising for that kind of class?
I haven't. How do you even advertise for that?
I think you would start with a post, just feeling for how many people out there would be receptive to such a class.
How do you do that, though?
Hey, everybody, I'm wanting to do a concealed carry class for people who are on the fence or anti-firearms, just to help educate people about firearms.
It's like that.
How many people hearing this would be willing to or show up to such a class? And if you get 10, that would be a victory, I think.
10 would be a home run. But yeah, I would love to just do an interactive, somehow do a venue.
Yep. Because knowledge is power. You're not trying to sell them a gun. You're just trying to provide them with the chance to become informed. You know, you don't have to enjoy firearms, but do you know how to make a gun safe if you see one around kids?
I would just be teaching facts, not feelings or thoughts or ideas. It would just be straight facts. Let's talk about this.
Off-grid university.
Off-grid university.
I have a gift. I'm telling you.
When? Where? Off-grid university.
Yeah.
How do I get not like-minded people to subscribe to such a thing? The problem is I think most people who are anti-firearm or anti-people like you and me, they have no need for knowledge.
Or they think they don't.
They don't want to hear it. That's the problem. Or is that just me thinking that?
I think there's some truth to that. There has to be truth to that.
Can't get into a debate with somebody. You'll never win them over.
Right.
Have you encountered that?
Sure. I have had firearms dropped off and picked up by relatives who just hate them. And half the time I'm not willing to.
Were they dropping them off to donate them to you?
I
Since they hate them?
wish. That would be great.
Please take this 1911. I hate it so much.
Okay, sign here and I'll do this for you. Yeah, thank you so much.
I will dispose of it properly, good sir.
So I've learned that if you can meet them on their level, which, you're more than capable of that. I understand why you feel that way. I really do. And, you're entitled to that. But I truly think that there is an opportunity to learn something that would either help further cement how you feel, or, you're not trying to change their mind. You're just trying to educate them or give them the chance to learn something else. It's like somebody goes to college and they have to learn all this stuff just to get the degree. You have to take underwater basket weaving to get a degree in English because it's what keeps the lights on at the college. And they take it and they get through it and they get past it and they take from it what they will. Even if the class was offered for free, there may be enough people on the fence to be willing to hear what you have to say. And it may take a post shared where people don't want it shared. It may take time, because I can see the problem being scheduling for that class and then not having enough people in time.
Yeah.
It could also be something you offer to them via Facebook video or posts that they can
click on at their convenience,
right?
Watch it at their convenience.
And then that may lead them to the point where they want to take your concealed carry class. So, there are some different approaches to it. It could be a billboard,
A billboard.
Yeah. And
there's a couple available on Highway 2.
Yeah.
What would the billboard say?
If you're anti-firearms, we want you.
Ooh. If you are anti-gun,
yeah,
we want you.
Yes.
For what?
To learn.
I mean, that billboard could come across as inappropriate.
Yes, it could. I'm glad you questioned that before buying a billboard. Why is the FBI here?
We want you. For what?
You say with a Michael Myers mask.
I have so many questions.
Happy Halloween. But it's just, something that I know that the billboards themselves have generated a countless list of people on the fence because they see it. And the fact that they're there and still there, they know those billboards are needed and the billboards are able to be paid for. So that says something in itself, and it either, I'd be interested to know how many people who were on the fence because of billboards or because of whatever, they took your class already. But because of things like those billboards, and they have to see it every time they go to and from work, has that billboard alone begun to change their mind from being anti-firearms or anti-anything having to do with the Second Amendment to maybe? And
how about this? You live in a free country because of guns.
Or because of this free country, you have just as much a right to those firearms as I do. Just because you're anti-firearms doesn't mean you're not entitled to it.
Or maybe it should just be simple. It should say, hate guns, call Sam, and then my phone number.
Yes, there you go. And have a hotline with someone ready to answer a lot of phone calls.
A hotline.
Yeah.
That's even better. And then it would be a crisis negotiator on the line.
Are you in your safe space? I think it's possible. Sam, I really think it is. I think it may take a lot of time. It may take a lot of advertising, a lot of commitment to that cause. But by the numbers you have in your classes every month, because it's every month, right?
Monthly, yeah.
You're making a big difference in people's opinions of the Second Amendment.
But my biggest fear is that I'm only educating and helping along the people who already agree with me. I want to go for the people who don't like guns, don't like off-grid, don't like freedom, don't like the country, those are the people I want to go for.
Well, we talked about Charlie Kirk previously. What about doing something like that? Not to such an extent, but say at a town hall meeting.
Town hall moody, like a prove me wrong type thing.
Right. Where you're sitting there and you let people who don't like what you do or don't like how you do it question you, or at the fair, or...
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Just you willing to sit out in front of God and everybody and stand your ground
And just have a conversation with
and
folks.
have a conversation would be the most effective way to gain ground on your
I think ideas have been planted today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's a
lo-
good idea.
I'd love to help.
That's a really good idea.
I
And the booth would say, guns are amazing. If you don't agree, come have a chat.
Yeah. Or guns are awesome, prove me wrong.
Guns are awesome. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. And you can be Toucan Sam.
I'm getting a shirt made that's got a toucan bird holding two suppressors that says Toucan Sam.
Yes. Yes.
That'll be fun.
My week is complete. Thank you.
Do you know it's been an hour?
No, man, I say an hour goes too fast.
It has been an hour already.
But I think that's a great topic to end on, because that could be another hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, we got a lot to talk about next week.
Yeah, we do.
And there's a lot of homework to be done this week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Totally agree.
how awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, episode 3 is in the books.
Yeah. Starting to seem like we're getting good at it.
Maybe on episode 33.
I'm trying to put a little wind in our sails.
There's wind.
There's momentum. Yeah. I'm not as bashful behind the microphone. I wore my happy shirt.
Next week, I promise to equally match your happy shirt.
I don't know if I'll wear this next week.
You don't have to wear the same one.
She'll match it.
I'll wear something as loud as that.
Okay.
I promise.
Yeah. Hawaiian fun.
Probably with guns on it.
There you go. Hawaiian shirts with guns and cans. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to start having an online wardrobe.
Online
market.
wardrobe, yeah. As worn in the podcast by Mike and Sam.
Yeah. You want to be like us? Dress like us. All right.
All right. Awesome. Well, any closing thoughts?
No. Talked about a lot of very active topics in society and on the news, which is important.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we're the Minutemen, because what's going on in life, what's going on in the world, we're going to talk about it.
And it changes minute by minute. I remember our first episode was going to be recorded the Sunday after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. But it didn't work out with our technical setup and whatnot. But
Right.
it's probably a good thing that it didn't work out.
Yeah. I'm just fortunate that we were able to talk about it after things settled down a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely heated for a while there.
Right. So I hate that it happened. I hate that it happened to him. The courage of a man to go forth like that and speak about God and speak about anything that was debatable on a college campus to such opposing-minded people took courage that I'm not sure I'll ever have.
Well, he entered the lion's den every time that he held a debate.
And he did it. Yeah, I know him becoming a martyr certainly influenced me for the better. So how many times in life am I lazy for sake of convenience when I would have missed out on the chance to influence somebody or speak about God or God in my life that could have made someone's life better or whatever. How many times did that opportunity come around or be presented to me where I ignored it because I wanted to be content? And I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, you've shared a few times on social media about helping baptize people. And Kate and I talked earlier today about wanting our kids baptized. And we want to talk with you about doing that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And I want to get baptized again.
Man,
So,
dude, that would be so cool.
yeah, I've been growing a lot. You know, like we talked about a few episodes ago with my transplant and post-life after my transplant, I'm finding joy and I'm seeing God everywhere.
When are you thinking you want to do this?
I don't know. You know, maybe when you got to bust a big hole through the ice and really earn it.
I'm telling you, we can make that happen. I got 2 guys I can call right now, so we'll have 3 people there to dunk and deliver.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's look at a calendar and be a day where we make a day of it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
But anyway, yeah,
I'm all in.
I'm getting winded again. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I brought that up. So I know none of our kids have been baptized. And I got to renew that relationship myself.
You have just made my century.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's go.
So I know you are a resource that keeps coming into my life, and God does that for a reason.
That's right.
And I don't want to ignore that anymore.
That's right.
So without further ado, I'll be quiet and let you wrap this thing up.
Dude, episode 3 in the books. Mike and Sam, Northern Minutemen podcast. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Recording on Sunday. Episode dropping on Wednesday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Adios.